It would have been the country's biggest ever heist. But for the need for more tools, they might have got away with it. Only a third of the jewellery, rings, gold, diamonds, other precious stones and cash has been recovered, and an unnamed ginger-haired man, known as Basil, got away. But not these 7, not William Lincoln, known as Billy the Fish, nor Carl Wood, or plumber Hugh Doyle, who were all found guilty today, and not the masterminds behind this last job, Brian Reeder, John Collins, Daniel Jones and Terry Perkins, who all confessed. Total years 441, average age 63.
These were callous thieves that undertook this crime. Some of those individuals were career criminals where violence was actually used. Violence wasn't used in this case, but we've got to be careful that we don't actually glamorise this. There are victims behind this.
It was 3 years in the making, a raid on this safety deposit vault whose security system was well past its sell-by date. The way in was through the fire escape round the corner, next to number 38. From the moment a white van pulled up in Greville Street, late on the night of Thursday the 2nd of April last year, there was no going back. This was the culmination of meticulous planning. That evening, Basil was first in, through the main door to the building. He had keys, how is not known. At just after 9:20, he's in the courtyard and opens from the inside the fire exit door into Greville Street. From a parked van, the gang unload bags, tools and wheelie bins, take them through the fire exit and down the stairs. Inside the building, the lift is disabled on the 2nd floor, and from the ground floor, some abseil down the lift shaft to the basement, and then break into the area between the iron gates which guard the passage to the vault. The CCTV is disabled, the phone cable from the alarm box is cut. Game on. Through the night, the men cut and drilled their way into the vault. Does the failure to respond to the alarm that night, does that mean that the Met accepts responsibility or some responsibility for what happened?
We've apologised for not turning up on that night. It's clear that police should have actually attended. We have reviewed the processes and systems that are in place, obviously to prevent this from happening again.
That night, the gang hit a snag. When they peered through the hole, blocking the vision of hundreds of safe deposit boxes, was the back of a large steel cabinet, bolted to the floor and the ceiling. Their hydraulic pump wasn't powerful enough to force it. They abandoned the vault, but not the plan. So near, yet so far. They got another on the Saturday that did the job, and several weeks later, 3 were secretly filmed in a North London pub, reliving that breakthrough. By then, the flying squad had connected the dots. The key was this white Mercedes, which was seen on CCTV driving around Hatton Garden the weekend of the heist. It was traced to John Collins, and from then, the network fell into place. Brian Reeder was the governor. At 76, he's the veteran villain. His lifetime of crime included the £26 million Brinks-Mat armed robbery in 1983, where he was jailed for handling the proceeds from the gold bullion heist. 32 years on, he was back.
Hatton Garden. A light here for Farringdon Station.
You wouldn't think that the brains behind this daring heist would have caught a bus to the vaults, but that's exactly what Brian Reeder did. First from his home in Dartford, and then onto this one, a number 55, which dropped him off with a 5-minute walk to Hatton Garden. And to cover his tracks, he used someone else's Oyster travel pass. But it was not to be his last hurrah, and he walked away when the gang hit the snag. £14 million worth of valuables was stolen from 44 boxes, most of them owned by diamond traders and jewellers. £9 million has still not been recovered.
What I think it certainly cost me a lot of my pension, and I think the first few months it gave me a hard time, definitely.
I watched a grown man cry, and I'm in real heartfelt tears of what am I going to do. He was thinking that he was going to be able...
Everything.
He's lost an awful lot. He's lost an awful lot, and his tears were about the fact that that was what he was hoping that he could pass on to his children and his grandchildren.
And what of the mysterious Basil, the only member of the gang to get away? Several cameras caught him over that weekend, walking past with his face concealed by a black bag on his shoulder. How did he get in?
As we understand at the moment, a key was used to gain entry into the premises.
So he just used a key to open the front door and then in he was?
That's as far as we know from evidence given at court, yes.
And you have no idea who he is?
We do not know. We haven't yet been able to identify him. The flying squad will continue this investigation.
A £20,000 reward is still on offer to help identify and capture the one outstanding suspect in the country's largest ever heist.